Welcome, everyone, to the Voice of ERP, sponsored by the ISM New Jersey chapter. This program is hosted the second Thursday of each month. I will now turn the stage over to our host, Sam Gupta, Principal Consultant of ElevatIQ and the host of WBSRocks. He will tell you a little bit about himself before we dive into our show.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kathy, for letting me host this, and welcome everybody to today's show. And today we have a very special show and a very special guest. It's going to be Lisa from Epicor. She's the president. She is going to introduce herself. Just a little refresher about the show. We meet every month on the second Thursday. So we have very exciting guests lined up. In the next coming months, we have folks coming from executives coming from NetSuite, QAD, and everybody from the ERP community. So let's get into today's show. And Lisa, obviously we want to learn a little bit about you. Not sure if audience is going to be familiar. So do you want to provide a little background about who you are and maybe quick brief about Epicor as well?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Lisa Pope. As you said, I'm president of Epicor. I've been at Epicor for about 6 years. And prior to that, I've spent really 30 years in sort of enterprise resource planning software, also known as ERP. So basically, I've had the opportunity to work for Oracle and Infor, QAD, and obviously now here at Epicor. So really have some broad experience across a lot of different markets, segments, enterprise clients, small customers, and also very global. So that's been actually a really nice opportunity for me, is not to be just US centric, but have the opportunity to work with so many great clients and customers and employees across the world. So that's been really good. And I think, a little bit about Epicor. We've been in business since 1972. Most people typically know us through one of our core products that are very specialized in specific verticals. So in manufacturing, it would be Kinetic. In the distribution space, typically P21 or Eclipse. In our retail markets, it's Eagle and also Propello, which is our new cloud offering. The lumber and building material space, it's BizTrack. And in automotive, we really do everything from the OEM all the way down to the auto parts and the cataloging at the store level. So those are our 5 key verticals. We're about $1 billion company, which I think surprises a lot of people. We've grown very rapidly, predominantly organically in the last 5 years. So we have done some acquisitions, but they've been more smaller, very specific applications that our customers have asked for. We've obviously been moving many of our clients to the cloud, continuing to focus on that sort of digital transformation path. And then I think, if I had to think of one fun fact that someone might not know about us, we actually build a number of the Formula One cars. So if you've seen the Netflix show Drive to Survive, we basically do have our Kinetic product does actually build a few of the race cars, typically 16,000 different parts, highly configured. So that gives you a sense of some of the complexity of some of our clients.
That's very good. Thank you so much, Lisa, for that. And if you're in the audience and joining for the first time, I'm going to give you a little fun question here, okay? And that's going to be based on Formula One that Lisa mentioned. So I am looking to hear what comes to your mind when you think of Formula One. If you could post in the chat box, I'll really appreciate that. Also, as always with this show, I typically don't have a ton of questions. So if you have any questions for Lisa, make sure you guys are going to post in the chat box and I'll be covering those first. Now, Lisa, on the background that you provided, so the first question that I'm going to have, and I typically take the side of my procurement folks, because obviously it gets very confusing when they look at so many different ERP systems. Even among the ERP vendors, there are going to be like 1 million products. So yes. Obviously from their perspective, it gets really, really confusing in terms of how to evaluate, how to really know what the product is about and whether they are going to be successful with the product or not. So you mentioned a term called specialized specific in the ERP, and not sure if everybody's going to be familiar about that. So do you want to describe what specialized means from the ERP perspective, and what would it mean for the procurement people?
Yeah, and I think evaluating an ERP system is tough, right? It's usually an enterprise-wide endeavor, right? Lots of departments involved, lots of people involved, and from a procurement perspective, your job typically is to sort of narrow things down and maybe help get that process organized and put together. So when we talk about sort of focused ERP or specialized ERP, really what we mean is that the product is very specific to that vertical. So in some cases, you may have an ERP that literally has a lot of code and might cover 30 different verticals.
Yeah.
Our approach is unique and different, and we feel like it's better serving our clients that are specialized. But in this case, if you are an engineer to order manufacturer and you use our Kinetic product, that product contains all the capabilities that you would need to sort of really fulfill everything from, basically building, making the product, closing your book, selling, configuring, right? All of those components highly fit for purpose. Same thing if you were a plumbing distributor. Our Profit 21 product is very geared for that. So it's just a different approach. I think we obviously don't sell into government. We don't sell into the services industry. So there's a lot of places that Epicor doesn't fit. And I think for anyone, it's really just doing due diligence on what industry am I in? What kind of solution are we looking for? And a lot of our success stories and a lot of our leads, frankly, come from references, right? So we're highly well known by an industry association. Many of those clients will end up using our product, and then that's sort of how we continue to gain market share across that vertical.
Okay, amazing insights there. Thank you so much, Lisa, for that. And we had some very interesting comments coming in the chat box, so I'm going to cover them, and maybe you can touch on them as well, Lisa. So sure. We have somebody. Okay, so for them it's race cars, and I cannot really see the name. Then we have Joseph. And Joseph is saying Singapore, as I have attended the night F1 race many times. Then we have Rebecca. Monaco comes to mind.
Yes. Well, I was at the Singapore race. So that was quite exciting. That race is incredible. It's a great bucket list. So yeah, that's one to go to for sure.
Yeah, could not agree more. And we have some more comments here. So Mike, I am not very familiar with F1. So Lisa, you need to address this question, okay?
Okay. Well, F1 is the Formula One race car. It is more popular overseas. It's actually only recently become popular here in the United States, I think, because of the Netflix show. So if you get on Netflix, that's probably the best way to get exposure to it. But, in the US, we're more familiar typically with NASCAR, right? That's sort of more the racing thing. But certainly internationally, Formula One is huge. It's made a huge push into the Americas. So there's now races in Miami, in Austin. We just did that a few months ago. We hosted a number of our clients here with our drivers, which was great. And then they're also expanding to Las Vegas. So you'll, start to see more of those races hit the United States. And it's just a very exciting type of race. The cars are highly engineered, very different from like a NASCAR. And just incredible to sort of watch the excitement around that. But I think it kind of gets back to sort of that fit for purpose that, in this case, for this manufacturing product, Kinetic, it is very geared for those sort of highly complex engineer to order type of industry. It's not a product that we typically take into the food industry, for example. So that gets back to, just doing due diligence when you start to think about putting in software. It's really, what industry are you in? Who are the players in that space? And then obviously talking to other customers to get a sense of their interaction with the vendor that you're picking. Because I think now too, it used to be we sold software. Customers largely took a lot of the responsibility for running the software once we implement it. And now with everything in the cloud, you're not just buying software, you're really, we're ultimately going to be running your company for you from a systems perspective. So, we think that really requires a different type of relationship. And that's one of the things I love being at Epicor. I really feel we get our customers better than anyone and do a great job really servicing and making sure that, that relationship stays very tight.
Okay, amazing. So Formula One to Formula One ERP, could not be a better description. By the way, I think, some people might not be familiar with it, and I don't know if this comment is genuine, but probably Mike was being sarcastic with that comment. I'm pretty sure he probably knows about it. Okay, so we have Andrew in the room, Formula One, automotive, innovation. Yeah, that's right. I could not agree more. Thank you so much, Andrew, for joining. And then most likely we have Anders here. Formula One, the pinnacle of performance and engineering, where cost and practicality is no object. That's not very common in the ERP community, I guess. So that's a very interesting comment. And then we have James. James is saying F1 high performing teams and fine margins. That's very true about ERP community as well.
Yes, yes.
And then we have Mike again, our F1 cars like NASCAR cars or like Indy cars. So we have some more. So maybe, Lisa, do you want to touch on this one? I don't know if you are familiar with it. Are F1 cars like NASCAR cars or like Indy cars?
No, they're really, I think, very unique. Again, it's the amount of parts that go into them. They are completely, highly engineered. I mentioned 16,000 different moving parts. The cars are really typically only used that one race. So, it's a very different model than, to your point, sort of highly engineered, high performance. And also the teamwork, I think, is the other thing. The amount of people it takes to sort of get these cars working. They're actually customizable based on the race, the track, the heat, the humidity, right? So, the tires in Austin are going to burn out a lot faster and have to be replaced than elsewhere. So it's a really neat sport that I think also uses a lot of data and analytics. So also just a very different sort of model and approach. But again, watch the show, you'll see what I mean. And, you'll get a great chance to learn more about it.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. So, I'm probably going to have next question related to ERP. Then
Sure.
Obviously our goal is going to be to understand who Lisa really is. So we are going to dig a little bit more into Lisa. But before we do that, I'm going to post one more question for the audience. And this is going to be, if you have any sort of experience with Epicor, what comes to your mind when you think of Epicor? Just one liner, please, in the audience. Thank you so much. And Lisa, for you, the question is going to be one of these segments that you mentioned, SMB versus enterprises. And when we do these ERP selections, obviously we are doing a lot. And when we talk to our customers, and sometimes the SMB is picking the enterprise products, the enterprise companies are thinking that they can probably manage with the SMB product. And I, as the implementation guy, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, God bless you. I don't know what is going to happen to this because obviously it could be very hard when you are going to be selecting any wrong product. In general, the ERP, any IT products are going to be extremely, extremely hard. So in your experience, how do you compare the SMB product from the enterprise product? What would be your definition, Lisa?
Well, in our case, it is the same product, right? So the product that we sell into our 5 core verticals, we basically, whether you're a 5-user company, a 100-user company, a 2,000-user company, that same product scales all the way up. And that's important for us because, there's a lot of consolidation going on in the industry. So if you look at lumber and building materials, for example, you've got some really big industry consolidators like a US LBM that are out there buying a lot of companies. Many of those companies run Epicor. And so now US LBM basically does run Epicor as well. And I think so for us, we want to make sure that someone doesn't outgrow us, right? We've had the opportunity to continue to work with our customers that grow very quickly. And so because of that, we're able to really run that whole gamut. I think that helps in a lot of ways because we're not trying to, go sell big accounts just for the sake of having big accounts. Our focus is really, select us, stay with us, grow with us. And we've been very successful at doing that. I think there are, there's sort of smaller footprint ERPs, and then there's larger footprint ERPs. And it's really the comment I made early on. It's not that one is good or bad. It's just a different philosophy and approach. So again, we're more highly verticalized with a specialized ERP, but we are able to start at a very small company and go all the way up to the enterprise level.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you so much, Lisa, for that. So we have some comments in the audience, and Mike does not have any experience with Epicor. So you guys probably need to do a little bit more marketing awareness, I
Brand.
guess.
Well, that's, the Formula One race was part of that. We have our logo on one of the cars, and, we're out there being visible. But yes, we have been, we are known traditionally more for our product names than the name Epicor, right? So people will have heard of P21 or Profit 21 or Eclipse or Eagle. So those names are out there in the market. And then a lot of people are still getting to know sort of the company name of Epicor.
Okay, amazing. And we have one more comment, and you are going to vet this. If this is aligned with your corporate strategy, this is how you are trying to position yourself in the market. So Carly is saying Epicor is equal to people first company, competitive, well-established, agile. Is that consistent with how you try to position?
Yeah, people especially, that's a personal thing for me. If I look back on my career, the number one thing for me is surrounding myself with great people. And that includes customers, right? So I feel really strongly about that personal connection. I feel that at Epicor, not just among my colleagues and my team, our executive team, the way we work with our customers and collaborate. It is definitely a company. We're still small enough. We're $1 billion company, so we're large enough to have scale. But I always say we're small enough to still care, right? We really take a personal interest in our customers and in their success story. So I think the point about people is definitely spot on in terms of priority. And then, I think she actually summarized it really well. So I think that was a great answer.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa, for that. So now we need to understand, what it takes to be a CEO of a $1 million company. I don't know how many people can really get there in their lifetime. So obviously you've done it. Kudos to you, Lisa. And I don't know whether you always knew this is what you wanted in your life. So tell us about the journey, how it started, and what it is to be in that position, how stressful it gets, and, what's life like?
Well, technically, I am president of the company, so I should say that.
That was going to be my second question, I guess.
President, not CEO. But
okay.
No, I started in pre-sales. So I was a product person that really went into the customers, understood their business, and demonstrated software. And so in some ways, I think that's really helped me along my career, because I didn't just get into sales. I actually was responsible for making sure that I trained the customers on the software, and I really saw how it was used in their individual industries. And so my background was really on the go-to-market side, getting to know customers, doing that, and I loved it. I was very good at it. I have some of my early customers still in my phone that still reach out to me. And I think that sort of just that people side of me really, it really resonated. And then as I just moved up in my career on the selling side and got promoted into larger and larger roles, I had the chance when I was actually at QAD to be part of their executive team. And I learned a lot by doing that, because instead of just being focused on one side of the business, I learned everything from, how does product get delivered and developed? What are the challenges with that? How do you create support? What kind of benefits package should we use, right? So I really got exposed at my time there, really well-run executive team, and really learned a lot about running, a software company, so to speak. And so when, the Epicor opportunity came around for me, it just sort of all fit together, right? So I think for me, my team will tell you this, but I'm very collaborative. I do have a big organization, but I give people a lot of autonomy, right? And I think that's one of the things that I've just really learned. And that's kind of my point about surrounding yourself with great people, is you should bring in people that, can do the job, and that you feel confident And in many cases can actually supplement maybe areas that you're not as strong in. So I have a really good management philosophy. I love my group. They have a lot of autonomy. And it's fun. I really enjoy what I do every day. And so that makes the work not really hard work. It's, I'm busy, but I really enjoy it. And I do spend, compared to probably a lot of people in this role, I spend a lot of time with customers. So I run our executive cloud council. I travel pretty extensively to meet our top customers and stay in touch with them on a quarterly basis. So I'm very much a field general. I'm out really working with our customers and our teams. And I think that also keeps it fresh and exciting and not just a desk job, right?
Okay, amazing response there. Thank you so much, Lisa, for that. So before we move on to the next question in the audience, I'm going to have one more question for you guys.
Sure.
I want to hear from you guys. What comes to your mind when you think of a president who is running $1 billion company? Just comment, just one liner, please, in the comment. And now the question for you, Lisa, is going to be, when you look at the ERP community, and I'm actually touching back on the LinkedIn comment that we were sort of tagged together. And I think you joked about that ERP is not dead. And a lot of people think that, ERP is probably going to be dead just because there's a lot of noise in the market. They don't understand, the role that ERPs typically play. So maybe touch on that comment a little bit, why you think that ERP is still alive and it's always going to be there. ERP plays a role, and I don't think that is changing anytime soon.
Yeah, what I would like to do is change the name of ERP, right? I think that's part of the challenge is it's associated like a legacy term. You don't have kids coming out of college today saying, oh, I think I want to go work in ERP, right? You'll hear them say, I want to be a data scientist, or I'm going to work on digital platforms. So I think that's part of the challenge is just it's sort of refreshing the concept of what does an ERP system do. But if I look at our customers and the way they leverage the software, it is really a digital platform that sort of enables key business flows in their company, mission critical business flows. So yes, you can go buy a product to run, your sales side of the business. And we use, for example, Salesforce, best in class, love it. I use Clary for forecasting, very specialized tool, love that. And those are great. But in terms of actually running everything, from your quotes to your cash, all the way through manufacturing, or if you're a distributor, all the way through the warehousing, what ERP and what Epicor is really designed to do is give you that seamless transactions and really make sure that business flow is there. And it becomes an incredible repository for data. So for me, having a strong ERP, definitely in the cloud, really enables what should be the most important thing that most of our customers are doing now, which is really understanding data and making decisions on data and insights, predictive data, analytics. And in order to do that, obviously having all of that information captured in your ERP is critical. The other thing I think that's important is, when we look at our key business flows, you can always have and I'm sure many of you that are in procurement struggle with this, but you'll always have every department want to buy their own system, right? They're like, well, I need this for this, and I need this for this. And then what you look at, sort of a jigsaw puzzle of how am I going to integrate and make sure that all of these things work together. So I think that's the other great thing that, an enterprise resource planning ERP software does is it lays that foundation. Yes, you can still go buy specialized applications, and we have easy ways then to integrate them, but it definitely makes it way easier in terms of just running that company efficiently. So again, I kind of like the word digital platform versus ERP, but that foundation to really drive those key business flows, I think is the differentiator. And hopefully, like I said, I think for our customers, I cannot see them running their business on, 15 different departmental systems. It is really that ability to look at the whole process and make sure that the efficiencies are there.
Yeah, could not agree more. And I think you brought a very interesting point, which is probably from the last session. So I'm going to touch on that as well. And this is related to your comment related to cloud. And I believe either that was my interview or one of the interviews that we were doing as part of this whole ISM initiative. And one of the procurement person asked when to decide to move from my legacy system to the cloud-based. We all know that every single enterprise software company out there probably is taking cloud first strategy, and I believe that's what you are trying to pitch as well. And I don't know if all of the Epicor customers have already moved to the cloud. That's a challenge that every enterprise software company is probably running into it right now. When I look at the quotes, the contracts, public cloud gets very expensive in general, especially for the customers that have not paid this kind of money. So it's a tricky conversation. It's not easy. So I don't know whether it is easy for you guys. Maybe tell us a little bit about, whether they can stay with the legacy platform. Are they going to be kicked out anytime soon? Any insights there?
Yeah, those are all good questions. I think I'll summarize cloud like this. If we're going into a new opportunity where someone either doesn't have a system today or maybe is on a system they don't like 90% of those deals now go to the cloud, right? They just do that. The challenge is with customers that are happy with Epicor and maybe on an older product, do they migrate to the cloud, right? Do they switch products? Or, if we're not doing a good job taking care of them, we also know they can go out to bid and look at something else. And, the flip side of that is that's the same for all of our competitors too. So we're interested in migrating our customers to the cloud, but we're also very focused on companies that might be using a competitive ERP that maybe haven't taken good care of their clients. They may not really be, happy with them. And then look to us and say, well, you have a cloud offering for our vertical. We should at least consider Epicor. So we're seeing competitive swaps to the cloud, and then obviously a very focused approach for our customer base. So we don't take the cloud lightly. And what I mean by that is because of the markets we serve, global manufacturing, this industry did not move as quickly to the cloud as, say, a service-based industry, which was sort of a no-brainer. But if you're doing global 7x24, running MRPs, right, or you've got a global, warehouses located everywhere, and you're trying to, literally run trucks and shipping and everything 7x24, there's concern sometimes about, is that going to work in the cloud? And how am I going to get an update? So we have sort of systematically, we do an assessment for each of our customers to say, are you a good fit for the cloud? Have you customized the software too much, right? Are there things that, you are doing uniquely on premise that maybe are causing challenges or specialized applications that the latency is going to cause issues? So we don't just rush to sort of say, everybody has to go. We have no intention of not supporting our products. So we're very big on ensuring that our customers don't feel that they get left behind. We do move some of our older products into more of a sustain mode where we're not going to keep updating them, but we would still continue to support that client, right? And offer maintenance to them. But many of our customers, frankly, I think the pandemic sort of really drove the importance of cloud, right? I mean, number one, the ability to work anywhere was key. Secondly, I think it gave everybody a chance to sort of reassess their business priorities. And so if they were slower, many customers used that time to say, let's go ahead and upgrade and let's go ahead and make that change. So I think we're really seeing the evolution pretty quickly, and we sort of take each customer at their own pace. But our cloud business is, growing over 60% each year. I mean, it's a very fast growing revenue stream for us. But as I said, we aren't forcing customers to go to the cloud. We offer both. And we even have some net new prospects that come to us, maybe highly regulated, very specialized, that prefer to stay on premise. And again, it's the same software for us. We don't have two different products, on-premise and a cloud. It's the same code, so we can run it either way. It's really up to the client.
Okay, very interesting. And do you have any sort of recommendations in terms of when they should start preparing, the journey? And I don't know, I mean, see, especially for companies like Infor, Epicor, Apteam, I think they all have a lot of products in their portfolio. And I don't know if the R&D dollars can support all of the products equally. I don't know what is the corporate strategy overall from the product perspective. Do you have any sort of recommendation in terms of which products might be moved faster to cloud than the other ones? And any insights there by any chance?
No, I think if I look at the way a customer usually goes through the cycle, they tend to take peripheral applications and move them to the cloud. So,
Okay.
like a Salesforce application, right?
Yeah.
Maybe a ServiceNow application, specialized application, because it's smaller in scale and smaller in footprint. And I think ERP seems to be the one thing that they're like, okay, if we're going to do this, it's a bigger project, and we need to really think through that. In our product portfolio, all of our core ERPs are available both on premise and the cloud. So there's no gap between capability at this point. And then if you look at the recent acquisitions that we've done, and we've done about 10 in the last, year and a half, most of all of those have been cloud-based solutions. So again, making sure that whatever we continue to purchase for our clients is really plug and play, and that we can make that seamless, cloud environment very straightforward and simple.
Love it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. So I'm actually going to touch some more comments. We have a lot of them piled up. So we have Andrew, I guess, and I missed this comment. I apologize, Andrew. Thank you so much for joining. And Andrew saying, I do agree that Epicor has a more specific fit ERP than their industry competitors. But as the industries continue to get even more specialized, how is Epicor going to keep up with the increased pace of customization? Is there a future for the modular approach to ERP's development, a central ERP ecosystem that has an apps marketplace for modular upgrades around features like web WIP, and I don't know if that is really a system,
Work in process.
then WMS, then light assembly, work kitting, truck-based inventory management. So this is a very interesting question. And this is the debate that we are all struggling, because we don't know how this is all going to work, right? When you look at the integrated system, it's always hard. So Lisa, any insights that you might be able to offer?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll take it from the perspective of inside our own company. So even though we work across this, makers, the manufacturers, the movers, the distributors, and then the sellers, the retails, right? We do make, move, sell. And we have a specialized ERP. We've taken a very similar approach where we have sort of common capabilities across those platforms. So the other thing we're seeing with our customers is the client who used to be 100% a distributor has now also gotten into light manufacturing and needs manufacturing capability, right? So we're seeing our customers sort of converge in their requirements, which means, you might be specialized, but now you've acquired a company that's manufacturing something. So one of the things we have done in our development, we have our core ERPs, but we have specialized products that then work across those. So that could be business intelligence. That could be, for example, adding manufacturing into a distributor. It includes things like our configurator price quote capability, which works across all of the products, right? So in that case, we do look for commonality and for areas where we can have an application and capability that will work across all those ERPs versus trying to, I'd almost say underutilize or overutilize developers to try to recreate capability in all those systems. We are definitely having that modular approach. Now, what we haven't done, and I think this is the future of ERP, where there's going to be where you can go on on your iPhone and download an app to do something, and it's going to plug and play into your ERP system that easily. That's probably a stretch just because of the nature and the complexity. I go back to my business flow discussion that I said earlier. The beautiful thing about an ERP is that digital platform and the ability to do all those business flows. But yes, I do believe that modular capability for specialized functionality should be there. It's definitely an approach that we're looking at. And frankly, when we go to acquire a company, that's what we look for. We try to buy a company, whether it's an EDI product or a business intelligence product, that we can plug and play across all of our products, so that, again, we get that benefit of having that, one product, and then the ability to really scale that across all of our platforms.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa. And we are coming close to our time now, and we have some more comments. And audience, I'm going to ask one final question to you guys. And this is going to be one question that you wanted Lisa to cover in this show, but we have not covered yet. So last chance for you, post your questions, and I'm going to cover some more comments here, Lisa, and then you can probably address them. And Mike is saying highly strategic. I think this is the response for the president of a $1 billion company. And I'm pretty sure you would agree with that, right, Lisa?
Yes. Yes.
Then Kathy is saying digital platform, and I think Kathy's probably liking that. So good, Kathy. And we have Chris in the room. I believe Chris is from QAD, so we have some competitors as well. Lisa, that's always good. That's my favorite part, I guess. So Chris is saying energizing and passionate. That's right as well. I think, you need to be that, right, Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, then we have Robert. Have any of your acquisitions been in the demand and replenishment planning area? It was lacking in P21. So Robert may be an user of P21 platform. And now we are getting into a little bit of SNOP territory, which is always sort of religious. Some platform combines as part of the ERP. I don't know, Lisa, are you guys thinking that you are going to club SNOP capabilities as part of the your products as well, or typically in your mind that's outside?
Yeah, I know for P21 specifically, I think what I would just say is we have made a number of enhancements to sort of address some of the demand planning. And again, it depends on sort of what your requirements are there. But we also, we work with a lot of specialized partners too. So in some cases, we have a partner that we may say, they really specialize in demand planning or in warehouse management if you've got more comprehensive requirements. And then that's an opportunity for a customer to sort of extend their solution, but still know that it's supported with Epicor, right? Still integrated with our product, and still know that when they, upgrade in the cloud, that's going to work as well. So I think that gets back to my earlier comment about just making sure, that when you do work with a partner, you've got all that, capability taken care of. So you're not making your client sort of become the systems integrator.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for that. So we have roughly 5 minutes right now. So obviously we want to keep roughly 2 minutes to get to know, how they are going to contact you. But before we do that, we have one final question that I typically like to cover. Okay, so now you need to be a future forecaster, Lisa. Okay, and what you are doing is you are predicting how the ERP industry is going to look. Maybe 2028, 5 years, or maybe 2030. Okay. So what changes are we going to see in the next 5-7 years?
Well, I can tell you where we want to be. I think it's all about data as a service. So I think it's the transactions are all there. We're going to continue to do that. We're still going to have all that volume of data. But now the real advantage we have, especially across our make, move, and sell supply chain, is being able to look at that data, really understand demand, where things are selling, why they're selling, what are the constraints with manufacturing, what are the alternates, sources that you may need to go to, and be able to go back to our clients and really provide data insights as a service. We're starting to do that already in the automotive space because of our work with all the cataloging system and auto parts. We're able to deliver a ton of intelligence back to the manufacturers of those parts and also the distributors. And we're now working on use cases for all of our verticals. So for me, I think the ERP, vendors that are out there that are going to continue to grow and thrive are really going to move into how they provide the data insights to their clients, not just what their customers are doing, but at that market level. And that's really where Epicor is headed.
Okay, very interesting. And any closing advice that you are going to have for the audience, let's say if they are going for ERP evaluation, selection, that you may want to touch, Lisa?
Well, I think number one, due diligence, right? I'm big on, I get involved in a lot of decisions, and it's really important that if you're making this important decision that you take the time to determine your requirements, your needs, and do your research, right? The second thing I would say is don't let your board pick, right? There's always a discussion around, I need board approval. And then someone on the board is like, well, we use this and you should use that. You know, I sit on our board and I sit on some outside boards as well. And I think, again, that's one of those things where each company is unique. You really need to look at your requirements. You know, listen to industry analysts, talk to other customers in your industry. You know, I like it because many of our customers will find out that their supplier or their customer runs one of our Epicor products. So even it might not be the product they're buying, they'll be working with companies that run Kinetic or that sell our products through our Eagle platform. And that, you know, but they can talk about Epicor, the company. So that's the other thing is this is a different relationship now that we're in the cloud and that we're selling really a service. So you, like I said in the very beginning, it matters who you work with. Yeah. I really believe that, you know, not just in your life and the people that are around you, but when you pick your ERP vendor, this is a long-term relationship, and you want to make sure that you've got the right company backing you up.
Could not agree more. So Lisa, you know, if audience wants to reach out to you, if they have any sort of questions, they want to learn more about Epicor, what is the best way to connect?
My email is lisa.pope@epicor.com. And I'm very good. I'm very responsive. If you reach out to me, you will hear back from me. I even have my cell phone on my email response. So I'm very accessible. If anyone's got any questions or comments, would love to hear from you.
All right. Amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa, for being generous and for your time and insights today. And that's it for the show. We are going to be coming back next month. I believe we are bringing next month. So stay tuned for the announcement of that show. On that note, thanks everyone. Once again, Kathy, any final closing comments?
No, but thank you very much. That was a great show, and I thank you both for putting this together for our audience today. And it was so great to introduce you, Lisa, to our ISM community.
Great. Thank you for hosting me. I really appreciate it.